Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, less focusing on trading and more focused on speculation and the degen side of things, because I think there's huge opportunities back in the trenches after it's been dead for I don't know how many months, probably since the start of the year. So we're going to dive into that, starting off with the Bonk ecosystem. And I was a little bit late to this, so I'm going to give you guys some insights or ideas that I have of how we can be early to the next one. And I don't think Bonk is necessarily over with the play. I think that it does need a cool down. We've had a massive run up towards, about 80% towards the upside here and about to hit local top, I would imagine. I could be wrong, but I'd rather err on the side of caution, especially with things going absolutely parabolic with useless coin hitting 300 million. So we're going to be taking a look at the Bonk ecosystem as well as some other narratives that I want to be early to. So let's dive right in. Now, I've been taking a look at all these Bonk coins on Let's BonkScreener. It's basically 3 pages of all the coins that have been launched on Bonk.fun. And I was just going through them looking for any opportunities, and I have found some, and I'm going to be sharing those with you. But you can check out this screener just to find opportunities of new coins. There's not that many coins yet because it's new, but this is where the opportunity lies. Because there isn't that many coins, your chances of finding a winner is a lot higher than it will be down the road. So time is of the essence. And here's some interesting information about Bonk.fun that Bonk guy posted. The market share for Let's Bonkfun has gone up, exceeding Pump.fun, which is insane because Pump.fun has been the king since the meme mania started, since the trenches became a thing, and they're finally being overtaken. I don't think Pump will be going down without a fight, however. They do have their TGE coming up sometime this year, so we'll see if Pump.fun can actually put up a fight against the pro creator, pro trenches platform. I do hope Bonkfun does win because they are really giving back to the trenches, and it gives us a fresh start with the meme season as there's not many coins to pick from. So let's get into the first meme coin I'm going to share with you guys from Let's Bonkfun, and it is called BAP. And I really like this BAP structure more than anything else. It's not because it's a cat coin, it's because of the structure that I see and patterns that I see with these coins. And I know you're saying, oh, it's just a new coin, how can there be a pattern? Well, I tend to spot patterns pretty easily when it comes to these coins because I stare at charts all day. And essentially, Corey had the same pattern, and the pattern is it usually does an ABC towards the downside. Now, this coin isn't exactly the same. So this is Corey. You can see the ABC pattern, and then it took off, right? And the first time Corey did this, I was thinking to myself, oh, that's a good, nice pattern, but I don't trust it because the markets weren't exactly hot. They were kind of still risky, early days. And I was thinking to myself, you know what, that's a good pattern. I'm just not going to get into it. Well, I paid the price because it went to 20 million soon after. Now, Bow Bow is another one, and I've seen enough of these patterns to know that these patterns work. And then here you can see the same thing, ABC pattern for Bow. It went up to 7 million, probably not done, probably going higher later. But guess what? We got BAP over here that didn't really complete the pattern. We don't really have it because it's been really, really bullish. So I do think the pattern is going to complete. It's just going to be a little bit different, or I could be wrong and it won't complete. But I have a hard time believing that it's just going to keep going and going and going, especially if the market wants to correct. So I do think we are going to get something like this, back to about a million, 1.3 million, somewhere around there. And that's going to be the opportunity at which I want to buy. And I know this ABC might not be technically correct, but I just wanted to illustrate the price action that I think is going to happen, as has happened with Corey and Bow. And this is, or I should say Bow right here. So I do think it's going to repeat history. And if we check the time on these, from the top to the bottom, it took about 4 days. Corey took about, I think, 6 days. And then for BAP, it really hasn't been that long. It's been 2 days. So still have some time for this pattern to play out. And this is a coin I'm going to be watching because, as you guys can see, what happened next after a long consolidation phase, after not that long, but still long, we did get nice moves towards the upside. It's 400%. And this is a lot bigger. That's 1,000%. So if we can grab BAP at about $1 million and trade it to 20 million, I'll be really happy with that trade. And of course, there's going to be other coins popping up here, so I'll keep my eye out. But for now, I'm just going to be focusing on BAP because I've got other ideas as to what can happen within the Solana trenches, which we'll get into. But Bonk was another one. Let's Bonk was another coin that I missed. The pattern was right in front of me. I do pay attention to these patterns, but I didn't look at this coin specifically for a long time and I missed it. But it was very evident that there was a pattern here that I really like to trade. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. It went up about, let's say, 800% from where I would have liked to get in. So that's been missed. But the trenches do provide opportunities every day. I think we have about 6 months of opportunities left up before these things dry up for a long time. So now, other than the Bonk ecosystem, we're going to take a look at Pumpfun coins like Troll. And the reason I'm looking at Troll is because it's got another pattern that I like, and it's also a strong meme. It's a meme that's been around for years, and people still use the term Troll everywhere. It happens in gaming communities, in crypto, online, whatever you want to call it. It just happens. People use the word a lot. It's not hard to understand the word Troll. And Troll has a pattern that was seen on PopCat, and you guys can see the pattern here on PopCat. PopCat managed to do this back in the early 2024 days when meme coins just got started. So first thing I want to point out is the consolidation phase lasted about 75 days, and you have a top at about 50 million and then a retop at about 40. Troll has something similar, top about 40 million and then a retop around 30 million. And the consolidation phase has been about 78 days with a breakout happening just now. So does this end up copying what PopCat did? I mean, you can see what happens next. It goes straight to about 377 million. And if that happens, well, you know, the gains there are going to be pretty wild, about a 20x gain. So worth watching. It's a bit on the higher market cap side, but don't let that dissuade you from missing out on these gains. I think Troll has a good chance. It's also held up pretty well with all the chaos that happened. Back here we had the war, and it managed to hold up on the structure side of things. It didn't make a new low, which I really like, and then it broke out. So the structure looks really good. I think it just needs more time to cook, especially with Bonk running hot. Bonkfun memes I think have taken a back seat. But this is another one I'm keeping an eye on because I like the price action, I like the narrative. It's all there, and it's just a matter of time before it pops. Now, I was late to the Bonk ecosystem, but I began thinking to myself, what other narratives are out there that I might be sleeping on, like I was sleeping on Bonk? And what came to mind was the ICM meta. And if you guys don't know what the ICM meta, it started with Launchcoin, and it stands for Internet Capital Markets. And Internet Capital Markets went crazy at the start when Launchcoin popped off. It lasted for about 2-3 weeks, and then it died off. And now it's currently considered dead. I don't think it's dead. This happened with the AI meta. AI meta boomed off for the first, I don't know, call it 2-3 weeks, and then it died off and then came back alive. I think the same thing is happening with the ICM meta, and I'm looking for coins to invest in to make sure I can participate in the gains that I think will come in the next few months. Now, I'm not paying attention to too many coins. I don't like crowding myself with coins and spreading myself thin with different positions. I just like to focus on the strongest horse, or what I think will be the strongest horse. And I think that Gooncoin is going to be one coin that is going to be taking center stage once Launchcoin and the ICM meta comes back to life. I think that it was one of the biggest coins when it was going hot. It went up to $70 million. And Launchcoin was at about 300. So once we get back to that stage where ICM metas are the hot topic and people are talking about it, I have no doubt we'll be able to reclaim all-time high and actually take it higher than the previous all-time highs. It simply got the same energy as something like Fartcoin, something like Uranus. If you guys haven't heard of it, it's a coin launched by Jupiter. It's got that same degen, you know, silly humor and I don't know what to call it, internet humor that people love. I think this is prime time price point for degen and speculation. You know, if we end up going back to 70 million, that's a lot of multiples to be had, about 2,600. So you can be sure I already have a position in this. I'm just waiting. I think it's a matter of time before we pop with the ICM meta again. If it doesn't, I think it's worth the punt either way. But this is just one coin in a sea of ICM coins that are out there. Startup was one that took off early, but this is a good sign. It shows that the ICM meta has not died completely, and Startup made a huge move. You know, call it 1,000% or 900%, somewhere around the 10 to 9x. And here is the product, the startup coin. The product is the market cap. Brilliant. So this is the type of moves I want to capture and what I'm setting up for. Gooncoin is simply lagging, I think. I don't think it's dead. The only red flag with Gooncoin I found was the holder base. You know, top 10 people hold, or top 15 I should say, hold about 30% of the coin. But then I looked at Launchcoin and I saw, you know, it's kind of similar with the top holder holding about 6% of the coin. So if Launchcoin was able to go to 100 million, then why can't Gooncoin? Of course, that's up to you to make a decision. I'm just sharing what I think. So we covered the Bonk ecosystem. We've covered ICM. Now, here's another one that's a bit different. It's not so much about a meta, but something I've noticed funky in the charts today that I wanted to share. If you remember, we had AuraCoin go up all the way to about $300 million or 250 out of nowhere, absolutely out of nowhere. And I noticed this price action, actually. I just didn't know what to think of it. I did notice it before it went off. I saw, oh, okay, wow, Aura, you know, it used to be a good coin and it's got some movement. I guess it's just because the ecosystem came back alive, because around April, where's April? Right there. The whole crypto came back alive. So it's normal to see dead coins come back to life. And I just chalked it up to, you know what? It's probably just Aura doing random things as people buy the coins thinking it's going to go up. And then this happened. So it got me thinking, okay, you know, I'm going to keep my eye out for this meta of dead coins coming back alive. And I found Omni, right? And Omni was doing this at the beginning of June, or I should say, first 10 days of June, and then it went back down to about 200K, and now it's at 800K, hit a million again. So then I started comparing these two, and I'm like, okay, you know what? These two kind of have a similar vibe. I don't know what's going on with Omni. This is pure speculation. So I decided to take a position today at around 700K, and I don't know what's going to happen with this coin, but when I see price action like this, I can only think somebody out there is accumulating for some reason. Just as I saw this and I chalked it up to, you know what, maybe it's a dead coin. I didn't throw much in here. I just put in something I was willing to lose because I don't want to miss out on a move like this. This is kind of sketchy. Like, it's a random coin on Bonkfun among a sea of thousands of cat coins. Why is this one pumping out of nowhere? So I don't really have a reason for this. I don't really have a thesis for this. This is more so what is happening here. I want to be a part of it in case something big happens. So that's pretty much what's going on here. And finally, we'll get to Uranus, which is a new coin launched on Jupiter's meme coin launchpad. And I think this is one of those, fart coin energy plays. Like, it's pretty much got the same sense of humor as well. I'm big in Uranus. I'm invested heavily in Uranus. Like, it's just got that silly humor. So whether it does well or not, yet to be seen, but it is something that I wanted to put on your radar because it's got that same fart coin energy. And these coins like to typically retrace about 80%. So I think if this is going to be worth getting into, if you like this coin, you think it's funny, then $4 million around there. I mean, wait for an 80% drop. Every coin drops about 80%. So I think there's time to get into this. Personally, I'm not going to be getting into this. I did consider it, but then I saw Goon Coin and the meta around the ICM. And if I had to decide between these two, then I decided to go with Goon Coin simply because I think this is going to be a much bigger play. Could be wrong, but I've placed my bets and happy to kind of see it through. So that's pretty much it for today's video, and hopefully by the time I see you guys again, BAP would have gotten back to that $1 million level and Goon Coin would have gone crazy, and who knows what Omni will do, but I'm here for it. So that's it, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out.